All right, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahawashi Yahawashi by Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who rule well, and honor and salutations to those of you who are of the hopeful elect and are out there teaching the word of sincerity and truth. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that I saw in my notes here um, concerning the time we're in, and what I was thinking about was the well one thing is that if you pay close enough attention uh, to what's happening in the world today, it's very clear that we're in the time of the Lord Yahawashi coming to deliver us from America and from the four corners of the earth. And I started thinking, I said, every time it talked about in the scriptures, um, this last final war, the Lord Yahawashi was the one who came out on top of that war, right? And I remember years ago, very vaguely, but I remember something, and I could be corrected if I'm mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, I remember back when the elder apostles first started coming out on 34th and 7th, and Elder Apostle Gabar had this binder with like pictures of uh, I guess I guess you would call it the debris, or the smoke and dust that came from the twin towers falling down. And there was all these demonic pictures or faces and hands and hand gestures that were coming out of the dust and debris from the buildings falling. And the last image you could see was the Lord sitting on the throne and lions on both sides of him. And I could be mistaken because I haven't been able to find it in all these years, but it just crossed my mind. But the point is that after all the kingdoms have fallen, right? After all the uh, uh, demonic energy has been cast down, the Lord Yahawashi is gonna be the last one to stand. His kingdom and his rulership is gonna be the last to stand. There's one scripture I think I'm gonna pull it out. I don't know if it's. Let me see if it's in this one. Bear with me for a second. I think it said it shall come to their astonishment, or something along those lines. Let me see. Bear with me for just 1 second here. I don't know. I don't want to take too long because I think I got it written down. But wait, I think I just found it. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'll read it, but I still want to go to this because there's a little meat in here. But I'll go back to this in a second. This is Second Ezra 13 and 30. It says, "And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth." Right? Because no everybody when you got a fight, right? You look at the parties of the fight, right? Let's say a boxing match. You either got one or the other who's gonna win, right? But here these two parties are gonna be in the ring duking it out, so to say, and there's gonna be somebody completely different who they didn't expect to even be in the fight coming out on top. You see, this is why the scriptures say. Matter of fact, let me go. What is that? Is that First Thessalonians 5? I think. Let me see. Thief. How do you spell thief? Yeah, First Thessalonians. Let me go up in here. 5 and 2. I'll start at 1. It says, "But of the times and in the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night." Right? Because people are not expecting this, right? Like when you think of World War, especially Americans, right? They're thinking, all right, well, if we get into the war, we'll come out on top. We have before, and we will again, right? So nobody's thinking like this war could be the war to end all wars, like the scriptures say, right? Because they're just thinking of the parties involved. America is a stronger boxer, if you will, and he's gonna win, right? Everybody, bets in Vegas on who's going to win the game or who's going to win the fight, right? And it's no different, right? Most Americans think that, this country would come out on top, right? So let me continue this real quick. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness," right? So we're prepared for these things. Why? Because we're watching, right? As prophets do. Prophets are to be the watchmen, right? And we're to watch the things that are coming to pass and link them with what the scriptures say, man. And every time, not every time, let me be fair, but there are many examples in the scriptures that talk about this last war and how the Lord Yahawashi would be the one that come out on the top of that war. That he would sit in the heights of the kingdoms, man. Matter of fact, I got my other book here. Because I think, let me see, what did I read just a little while ago here? Yeah. This is Revelation 17 and 13. Just want to see if that was on my list or not. Sorry, bear with me for a second. It was not. All right, so let me go here. This is Revelation 17 and 13. It says, "These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast." Right? It says, "These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful." Right? So at the end of that, right? At the end of the falling of the beast, who's going to come out on top? The Lord Yahawashi, right? So let me go back to this article that I had pulled up here, right? It says, this is from Express. It says, I'm trying to see if there's a date on here. Doesn't look like it, but it's pretty recent because it talks about, it says last week in here, right here in this spot. So I think this is pretty recent. This is right when Trump had that attack there. But let's read this real quick. It says, World War III risk. What are the chances of World War III happening? Has World War III started? Right? So it says World War III tensions have been at a seemingly all-time high since the U.S. assassinated top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, or Soleimani, in a deadly airstrike on January 3rd last week. January 3rd. Last week, President Donald Trump spoke about de-escalation from conflict, but what are the chances of World War III happening, and has it started already? Heightened tensions between Iran and the USA lasted 10 days before both sides hinted they would be willing to dial down any potential conflict. But things haven't entirely calmed down in the region since the assassination of General Qasem Soleimani and subsequent missile strikes by Iran. Okay, let me read a little bit more. It says, what are the chances of World War III happening? In response to the killing of General Soleimani, Iranian leaders and politicians issued fiery statements promising revenge. The Iranian retaliation saw 2 precise missile strikes on military bases in Iraq, where U.S. and allied troops were stationed, right? So you can read on, you continue on in this article here, but the point I wanted to make was how people are talking about the possibility of another world war, right? And I'm going to say this, that in answering this question, what are the chances of World War III happening? The chances are very high. The chances are very high that this war is going to start, because this is the time we're in, right? We are in the time and in the day of the Lord Yahawashi. And in order for him to return and come back, this war has to happen. He is going to be the one that stands at the end of that war. Okay? So let me go to my list here so I can talk about this a little bit. Oops. Yeah, so let me go to Matthew, okay, 24. Oops, 24, might as well. 24, and I want to start at 6. Okay, actually, I'll start at 5. I'll start at 4. It's Matthew 24 and 4. It says, And Yahawashi answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, right? So these things have to happen. In order for this thing to play out, right? These certain things have to happen. This is why this guy Judas Iscariot tried to force the hand of the Lord Yahawashi and have him killed, because he knew that there were certain things that had to happen in order for the kingdom to come, and he thought that that would force it, right? So in knowing that certain things have to happen, this war is no different, man. This last final war, this war to end all wars, has to happen for the Lord Yahawashi to be set up, right? Because what's happening, right? Anytime you have a changing of the guard, right? Whenever you have a power change, right? There's always a war, right? When Alexander finally took down the Medo-Persian Empire, it wasn't they didn't talk about it and say, hey, I'm gonna do this. You mind switching over your power? Nah, they fought. They fought, right? So the thing that's powerful about what the Lord is doing, He's getting all of them lined up so He can kill two birds with one stone, as they say, as the saying goes. Meaning that He's going to get them all in the same place so He can knock them down all at the same time. Matter of fact, this is what is that? Is that Zephaniah 3 and 7? I think it is. This is Zephaniah 3 and 8, actually. It says, Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. Right? See, so he says he wants to assemble the kingdom, so he can get them all at the same time, man. So all of these different powers, right? That beast and that whore that sat up upon the beast, right? All those powers are going to be together in one place, and the Lord is going to lay the smackdown on them, man. Okay? It says that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You see? And that's what's going to happen, man. That's what's going to happen. The Lord is going to put them all together in that one place, and what's going to happen, He's going to be the one that prevails at the end, man. Okay? Matter of fact, I'll go from there to Joel, the 3rd chapter. And I will start at, I think I have this one on the list, actually. Let me see where I wanted to start. 11. I'll start at 11. This is Joel 3 and 11. It says, Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, right? So what is this? They're mounting up for war. They're preparing for war, right? Get your armor, get your swords, right? Get your company together, right? Verse 12, it says, Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. So this goes hand in hand with Zephaniah, right? Jehoshaphat is going to be the place, or Yahawashi is going to be the place where the Lord gathers all these nations together to fight them, man. Right? It's going to start out as them fighting each other, right? But in the end, they're going to leave off of that fight and try to fight the Lord Yahawashi. And who's going to prevail at the end? The Lord Yahawashi, right? So you're going to see that in just a second here. This is verse 13. It says, Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great, right? So again, this war is a semblant of enough is enough, right? Because what does it say in Revelation? Matter of fact, let me do this. I think it's this is Revelation 18:5. It says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled, fill unto her double." Right? Because you got all these people that talk about because I always say things. I always make the remark that this got to be the end of the world every time I see some form of wickedness being perpetuated, right? I always say, yeah, this got to be the end of the world. People go, oh, they were saying that this time too. They were saying that at this time too. But the only difference is now all the prophecies are lined up together, right? There's a weapon that has been created that can be shot into the ends of the earth, right? The nations are mad at America, right? Babylon the Great, right? It's been manifest who Babylon the Great is, that whore that sitteth on the beast, right? All the things that would make the beast hate the whore, right? Her trying to separate herself and be sovereign by herself, right? All the things that were needed for this last war to happen are now happening. So this is it, man. The only thing that happened next is for the Lord Yahawashi to wipe these places out. I mean, in general, I know the chip has to be implemented and those things like that. But I mean, in general, that's what's the next step, man. The Lord Yahawashi raising up His kingdom. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, it says, verse 13. It says, "Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision." Right? So when these parties start to fight, when these players start to fight, that's when you know that the Lord's time is near, man. This is His time. He's prepping to return. Matter of fact, let me go here. Back in Matthew 24. It's one of my favorite scriptures here. This is Matthew 24 and 32. It says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh." Right? So whenever you have, you'll notice like on the branches, if you look close, they'll have those little nubs on the ends of the branches when the leaves are getting ready to start budding, right? What is that an indication of? That the spring is coming, right? And after spring, summer, right? So it says, "So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors," right? So we're salivating at the mouth, man, because we see these things coming to pass, and we see that it's getting closer and closer, man. World War III is inevitable. You know why? Because the coming of the Lord Yahawashi is inevitable. You see, it's gonna happen, man. You know, we're just now, waiting for that time to come. Patiently waiting and hopefully waiting. Okay. So let me go back. Okay. Joel 3 and 15, it says, "The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining." Right? Verse 16, it says, "The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel." You see? So he's going to gather them, right? They're going to be brought to the valley of, the valley of Yahushaphat, right? And when that happens, who's going to utter his voice? The Lord, man. It says he shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice. You see? So that's what's going to happen, man. That's what's coming. The Lord's time is coming, man. He's gonna get to exercise that power, man. Okay. Okay, did I read all of these? I did. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. So let me go here. What did I say I wanted to start at? I forgot about that one. Bear with me for a second. I'm just looking because I have it written. I have like the story written, but not the exact place I want to start. So I'm just gonna go through the book here really quick. So just bear with me for a second. This is Daniel, the second chapter, and I'm gonna start at I'll start at 30. Daniel 2 and 30. Then 2 and 30. Alright, so this is Daniel 2 and 30. It says, "But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart." Verse 31. "Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible." Right? This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron and clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. You see? So what did that 10 toes mean, right? It's going to get into it, but those 10 toes, matter of fact, let me see. It says, okay, here's the breakdown of it right here. I'll read verse 40. It says, "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as the iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided." Right? "But there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay." Right? So why would they be divided? Because they're going to be fighting each other, man. You see? In that valley of Jehoshaphat. Right? But listen to this. "And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great power hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure." Right? So that great stone was Yahawashi and the nation of Israel together, breaking in pieces those toes, man. Right? So they were divided, fighting against each other, and who stood at the end? The Lord Yahawashi, man. Okay. So now I got this last one. This is Second Ezra. Second Ezra's just it is 13. 13, and I want to start at 29, I think it is. Okay, I think it's 20. Is it 29? Let me just look at this. Yeah. This is Second Ezra 13 and 29. It says, "Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth, right? Because again, you got these in the world war, like right now as it stands, it don't look like the Lord Yahawashi is a player in that war, right? It doesn't look like we have as a nation a stake to claim, right? Because we just nobodies, right? Nobody's thinking about the Lord Yahawashi coming back to destroy these kingdoms, right? It says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest, as a man ascending. You see? Right? Now listen to this. Like it said that he would come roaring out of Zion. It says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, right? And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. You see? That sounds strikingly familiar to Daniel's, man. That stone that was cut without hands, right? It's the same, man. So we're in the day of the Lord Yahawashi, man. This is his day. He's getting ready to show off, man. All right. So with that, I hope that was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahawashi by Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders. Honor and salutations to the hopeful elect. And with that, I say shalom.